Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to episode number 503 of NoDQ&A video. You are watching the longest running episodic wrestling discussion show in YouTube history. Somebody suggested that I mention that, so I'm going to pull Michael Cole and pimp out NoDQ&A video now that we have surpassed 500 episodes, which to my knowledge is unheard of. I don't know, maybe somebody's done more videos out there, but NoDQ&A video, we've been around for a long time now. Got your questions here from spring.me/Aaron Rift. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get started here with the first one today from Chris Mace 39628. Please answer in video. What did you think about the Stephanie McMahon being arrested in storyline? I thought it was a really good angle. I think that for the Diva storylines, this has been one of the most entertaining storylines, and a lot of it has been due to Stephanie McMahon. She is a tremendous performer, and she sold the whole being arrested thing really well. Crying as she was being taken to the back with Triple H, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. I thought it was really well done, and it was a good angle for Raw. Good angle to potentially build up a Stephanie McMahon versus Brie Bella match, which has been rumored for some time now. And I got this question here from Little J96. Do you think we could see Brie Bella versus Stephanie McMahon at SummerSlam? That certainly seems to be the case, what WWE is building towards Stephanie versus Brie Bella. It started way back when the Daniel Bryan storyline was going on and Brie Bella was fired by Stephanie, or actually Brie Bella quit when she was being threatened to be fired. So I figured that at some point they would do an angle to get Brie Bella her job back. I'm guessing at SummerSlam it'll end with Brie getting her job back, unless there's some kind of swerve like Nikki turns on Brie and joins with Stephanie, and maybe at Night of Champions Brie gets one more chance and gets her job back, maybe Brie against Nikki. So there's several different ways WWE can go, but also I'm thinking for SummerSlam, maybe Brie just defeats Stephanie with the help of Daniel Bryan, and that way you get Bryan on the SummerSlam pay-per-view without him actually having to get in the ring and wrestle. So we'll see what happens with that, but certainly SummerSlam seems to be the place to do that match. If Stephanie's going to wrestle, SummerSlam, one of the biggest shows of the year, they've been building up this storyline for several months, and they did the big angle on Raw. Seems like the logical direction is to have that match take place at SummerSlam. All right, this one comes from CDrag56. Hey Aaron, should Raw and Smackdown go back to having no GM instead of having Stephanie and Triple H GM Raw and Smackdown? Please answer in video. I think that it is definitely played out, the whole GM, whether it's a heel or a babyface, having a constant authority figure on television. It has gotten old, but at the same time, it's a formula for WWE, and it's easy material to write. You have the authority figure come out, make the matches for the show. So, it's just an easy way for WWE to put together their shows and storylines where the GM makes the decisions rather than just have all this random stuff happening and there's no sense of order because you don't have an on-camera authority figure. So I think that they will keep doing it, but definitely the heel GM I feel is really played out far more than the babyface GM. I mean, we had Teddy Long, but besides him, I mean, most of the GMs over the past several years have been heels, from Vicky Guerrero to Stephanie, Triple H, and John Laurinaitis and Mike Adamle and all those guys, many more going way back to Bischoff. I mean, they've all been known for being heel GMs, and I'm trying to think, besides Teddy Long, who else they've had as a strictly babyface GM, and I'm not even being able to come up with a name. So, it would be nice for maybe, down the line, if they don't want to have Sting wrestle, maybe have him come in, or, bring back a major legend. I mean, Hogan's done the GM stuff before, but you could bring him in and have him be the GM, or Ric Flair. There's any number of legends that you could have be the babyface GM, and hopefully WWE doesn't do the TNA style swerve where the babyface GM goes heel after 2 months. All right, this one comes from Creature13. Have you ever been to see WrestleMania live? If yes, how was it? Well, I've answered this question before, but I'll go ahead and say it again. Yes, I was at WrestleMania 21 in person at Staples Center. That is the only WrestleMania up to this point that I've seen in person, and it was tremendous. It was a crazy atmosphere, 20,000 fans from all over the place. It's not your usual crowd in Los Angeles. Normally, when you go to a Raw, SmackDown, or one of those events at Staples Center, I mean, it's very a very heavy Latino audience that you have there, and at WrestleMania you could tell that people were coming from all over the world because you had all the European flags, and you could tell that people from Europe and all over the place were coming in for WrestleMania, and it just made for a really unique atmosphere to have all these hardcore wrestling fans in one place. And a small building like Staples Center too. I mean, compared to the stadiums, of course, to have that many hardcore fans in a 20,000 seat building, it's a really amazing atmosphere to be there in person. Haven't been to a stadium WrestleMania, but planning on doing 31 next year in San Jose. So we'll see how that goes. All right, this one comes from King Clemens 21. Hey Aaron, do you think when Jeff Hardy returns to WWE and he gets will he get a last WWE title run or do a rivalry between Seth Rollins and Jeff Hardy? Please answer in video. Well, I think you're jumping the gun a little bit here with Jeff Hardy returning to WWE. I mean, I do think he will come back to WWE sooner than later. I think it's inevitable that he'll be back. But beyond going into the Hall of Fame and maybe going in with his brother Matt, I don't know if WWE is going to bring him back as a full-time performer again. I think that the chances of that happening are slim, actually. I think if he does come back to WWE, he'll go in the Hall of Fame and maybe have a last run, like several other people have come back and had one more run in WWE. Maybe like an RVD-style run where he comes in, maybe works for a couple months or does a couple of dream matches, and that's it. I just don't know if he's going to be coming back and being a full-time performer again. I think the odds are against that happening. But never say never, of course. As far as him feuding with Rollins, I mean, it all depends on when Jeff Hardy, or if he comes back, when he comes back. He might not come back for several more years, and who knows if Seth Rollins will still be a major player in WWE. One would think he would be. But yeah, I mean, that would definitely make logical sense if Seth Rollins is a huge star in a couple years, to do him and Jeff Hardy, or do Jeff Hardy versus Dean Ambrose. I mean, there's so many people. Jeff Hardy versus Daniel Bryan, if Daniel Bryan's healthy. But it's really hard to say because who knows when Jeff Hardy will make a WWE comeback, if he does at all. All right, this one comes from M316. Hey Aaron, please answer in video. If Sting and Undertaker had a match at WrestleMania 31, who do you think should win? Should Sting lose his potential only match? Undertaker is at 21-1, and another loss would degrade his record further. Your thoughts? Well, first of all, I personally would not do this match now that Undertaker's streak has ended. If for whatever reason Undertaker wants to do it and the match is made, I would have Undertaker win. I mean, even if the streak had not ended and they did this match at WrestleMania, I would have Undertaker go over Sting. I think that you should have Taker, when the streak was still intact, definitely have him win for the streak. But yeah, as you mentioned, he already lost once. So if they're going to do a final match, I don't think Sting needs to win that match. I think that fans would prefer Undertaker to win it, and Sting could still look strong even in a losing effort. So, if I had to make the decision, I would go with Undertaker going over in that match. All right, final question here today from Crusher6363. If John Cena lost every once in a while on Raw, do you think people would be less hard on him? Possibly. I think one of the big problems with John Cena is, he never shows any signs of weakness. I mean, he is Super Cena after all, and I think fans resent that. I think that if things did bother John Cena, not just losing, but, he never seems to get offended by anything, and nobody can ever get under his skin and piss him off. He's always laughing everything off, and being calm, cool, and collected constantly. And I think that a lot of fans don't like that. They want to see some flaws in the John Cena character. And when he really has no personal flaws or physical flaws, I mean, people tend to not have the emotion, not feeling for John Cena, so you just tend to not like him. So I think that that's a big problem with the way he's been portrayed, and it's not necessarily winning or losing, but just the fact that he never seems to be bothered by anything, and he just laughs everything off and does his stupid, corny jokes that he always does, and I think people don't like that. So, not necessarily having him lose or drastically changing his character, but tweaking it and letting somebody get to John Cena's head. And, Bray Wyatt didn't really do that, and, that's a big reason why I think that storyline didn't live up to its full potential. Alright, that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thank you for checking out the video today. If you enjoyed it, please share it on Facebook and Twitter. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding SummerSlam. And I will be covering SummerSlam live at Staples Center. So stay tuned for that. And I will see you guys next time for another edition of NoDQ&A video.